countdown has begun. We're winding down for the end of the year. We're just going to mail in this episode. We celebrated Christmas last week, so isn't that usually what happens, Mel? After the office Christmas party, everybody just sorts of starts filing all their stuff away and tidying their desk, and that's what I think we'll do.
Well, I kind of think the office Christmas party, not that we're going to have one, but normally you just go home straight after. You know, you knock off early for the said Christmas party. You know, you all go out for Christmas lunch at like noon instead of working through till 5 o'clock, and then you just never go home. Never go back to work. So
this highlights that we didn't really actually have our office Christmas party for the Parkrun Adventurers. So we're still going to put in for the next couple of episodes, rounding out 2018.
I think we owe it to the listeners, Scotty, to be honest. They've kept with us for almost 3 years. I think we can give them a couple more weeks of actual quality content before we have a little break.
And if you're listening to this now, you've missed out. You cannot purchase a Parkrun Adventurers ugly Christmas singlet. Well, actually, I think you can, Mel. I think the link still works, but you cannot get that in time for Christmas.
Well, no, we did ask them to disable the link, so I haven't checked it this evening, but I'm pretty sure it will stop working.
Okay. Particularly if you're listening to this in 2019, we're pretty sure that link no longer works. And Christmas is gone. It was a good one.
Well, we're assuming.
Yeah, because we all looked good in our ugly Christmas singlets. Hey, speaking of looking good, were you looking good on Saturday at Parkrun? Mel? Were you wearing a fancy singlet or anything like that?
Yeah, my fancy singlet was fluoro orange and said Parkrun on it.
Oh, I've got one of them. I've worn one of them.
Well, there you go. So, but I'm assuming this is leading somewhere, the whole looking good thing. Explain the segue to me, please.
No, it was just a segue to find out where you went to Parkrun on the weekend.
Ah, okay. Well, I was at my home Parkrun volunteering. Big surprise. But yeah, it was nice to be home and had a nice non-eventful morning. Although I actually had the virtual volunteer app on my work phone just in case. We've got a couple of park runners who normally, if Linda volunteers, she'll use her husband Dez's phone to barcode scan, but they were both on the roster this week, and I thought, I bet I know what's going to happen. They're going to show up and there's only going to be one phone between the two of them, and that's not going to work. So I made sure I had a backup plan because the run director can't use their own phone because that has to be kept clear for emergencies. So I downloaded the app on my my work phone and took that along as a spare and gave that to Des. Only I haven't figured out yet how to lengthen the period of time that the phone screen is active before it goes to sleep. So there was one sort of minor freak out sort of halfway through the event where one of the Finnish token people ran over and said, Mel, you've got to come. The screen's gone black and we can't add any extra time. So apologies to those participants who may have come in between 1:25 and 1:30. Your times might be out by a few seconds while I had to rush over and unlock the screen for Des. But yes, apart from that one little pressure moment, it was a good weekend. And, you know, I got an opportunity to do a bit of a clear out of the kit, which was nice. We had I went through all the tokens, and we had a bunch that had little sticker numbers chucked on them. So, you know, when that happens, people have to be written down because the Finnish token doesn't scan, irrespective of barcode situation. So that's more work for the volunteers. And I went through and I printed out all the replacement scannable barcodes for those numbers and stuck them on, and it was really cathartic going through and making sure that we had the full set so next week they can have a nice clean breakthrough. But it made me think about, you know, this week on the 5th of December it was International Volunteer Day, or was it International Volunteer Week altogether? Either way, you know, Parkrun Australia highlighted the fact that our volunteers do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you just never see. And that's just one of those sort of examples, you know, spending an hour cleaning out the tokens and making sure that they're all up to scratch so they can be used next week.
Did you give yourself a volunteer credit? Maybe an other?
For doing that?
For doing that?
No. Not in addition to just, I was run director on Saturday. So doing that on Sunday afternoon. And you know what else I did? I sewed up a bag. I got a little bit crafty and I sewed up a new bag to store and transport some of our kit in. And it's one of those things that I've been meaning to do for like 2 years. And so I totally channeled Bo Miles, and I'm starting to do the little jobs that I've been putting off for a long time, including mulching. On Friday afternoon, I mulched the 2 front gardens, Scotty.
Well done, Mel.
I have been a powerhouse of productivity this weekend. But
Did you run a mile in between?
No, I may not have done that every hour. However, I felt like I ran a marathon the next day after pitchforking all that mulch out of the trailer. So, yeah.
Hey, last time I was up there and we went to Kawana, you showed me some of your kit and it was a bit unruly. So is this an admission that you've completely cleaned out and you've gone minimalist? And
it was unruly. What did I show you? That was unruly.
I don't know. You had lots of extra bits in there, and I asked you, "What are you doing with this and what are you doing with that?" And you just said, "Oh, it's part of the kit. I haven't got rid of it yet."
Oh, we did used to have a wooden token box that had been donated. We got rid of that a long time ago, and I have had some complaints from people who missed the way that it was able to be sorted.
They miss the old days.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you know what? You don't have to carry it around every week, and all my run directors do, and it weighs like 500 grams. So it went. Yeah, no, I've even taken the laptop out. I asked the rest of the team on Saturday, does anybody actually use the laptop now that we're with the app? And everybody said no. So it's like, great, because that weighs about 3 or 4 kilos. So that is taken out of the kit as well. So it's really good.
Streamlining. I like it.
It's like spring cleaning, but at the beginning of summer. What did you get up to, Scotty?
Well, I'll tell you what, I went to Darebin. So I'm chasing my P index at the moment, but I'm playing the long game. So I figure I could get the low-hanging fruit. I could go to my Diamond Creeks. I could go to my Mullums and just easily jump up a P index like that. But I'm going to put in a bit of groundwork and go to the events that I've gone to 3 or 4 times so that the P index just gradually grows.
Okay, you're going to spread the love around.
Yeah, I'm spreading the love around. But I wanted to... I'll tell you a story. I went with one of my best mates, Chris. It was just a boys' weekend at Parkrun this weekend. So Chris came and picked me up to head to Darebin. And when he picked me up, I made sure I had everything, got my watch, got my shoes, got my drink bottle, got my barcode. And when I said I've got my barcode, it dawned on Chris that he had forgotten his barcode.
Oh, no.
Yeah, which he has done before. And I said, no, just because I work for Parkrun and just because we could fiddle the stuff in the behind the scenes, I'm not going to do it. If you forgot your barcode, you're not getting a time, mate. So what we ended up doing is we drove all the way back.
He didn't ask you to do it, though.
No, he didn't. But I'm trying to show that he didn't ask because he knew the answer would be no.
Yeah.
But I would never consider doing it. So what we ended up doing was driving all the way back to Chris's place to get his barcode and then headed to Darebin. So this no barcode, no time, no exception rule, it's a rule that is enforced. And so it should be at all events.
Oh, look, have I ever mentioned that one time Adam forgot his barcode and I was run director that day and was doing the results at home afterwards, and he's like, but couldn't you just scan it now? It's like, no, you didn't have it at the event. I'm not scanning it into the barcode scanner before I upload it. I'd have to get the tokens out again. That's not fair. So no. So he was unknown that week.
But there, Chris actually had a wristband on. So his barcode is one of the fancy new purple wristbands, and he even managed to forget that. So I reminded him that he can actually wear it all the time.
Yeah, you don't have to take it off, Chris.
Yep. I was giving fashion advice this weekend at Parkrun.
Oh. Just with the barcode wristband.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that was my weekend. It was a great day at Darebin. Beautiful morning down here in Melbourne. And
was it warm? We've been having a really warm week.
So I hear. It's quite funny that all these Queenslanders who live in the Sunshine State have been complaining for weeks on end that it's hot. Well, maybe you shouldn't live in the Sunshine State.
Well, I'm not complaining. I'm just making an observation. Have you seen a map that has like highlighted where all the bushfires are. Our state is burning. Like, it is literally burning at the moment. And we're nowhere, where I live is nowhere near the fires, and there's just smoke haze everywhere, and you can smell it. So it's really quite scary.
It is kind of scary, isn't it? And you know where I live near a lot of
rural
trees. So I live quite close to Black Saturday a few years ago. Ivonna reminds me that I think we were 3 minutes from missing that from time to time. Right. So that's scary. Yeah. It's very conscious. So this global warming stuff does scare me when it comes to summer. It's a reality now. I don't know if we carry on too much about the weather, like, because we can access it whenever we want, and we can monitor the wind and the rain and where the fires are whenever we want. So we're more in tune with it. But
or desensitised, perhaps.
Well, I don't know. But it's a concern.
We're getting very deep, Scotty.
Sorry.
We're not usually a deep podcast.
No. I tell you what, let's go to our guest this week, we've been waiting all year to get to him. So let's get to him, and then I'm really keen to hear your goals for next year, which you've been put on notice for, and you've got another 15 minutes to think about it while we chat to Ian Hay.
Some may say it's been far too long, but I'm not going to say it. This year, 2018, has seen a great deficit in facts in a haystack, and we would like to blame squarely and fairly, or place the blame, I should say, on Mr. Ian Hay. He got a new job. He got important, like super important, and is now a big deal. So we have taken a long time courting him to get him back on the show. He's here now. We're extremely happy to have him. Ian, welcome back.
Thank you. It's been, I don't know, I probably wouldn't say that it's been too long, but it's good to be back.
So have you had to dust off the haystack, as it were?
I did have to go digging up all those old queries and all those lookups and try and remember what I've done and try not to repeat absolutely everything. So, yeah, it did take a little while, a bit.
But was it fun?
Yeah, it is fun looking at stats, especially when you see how much we've grown over the years and just how many new events have come in. And I haven't been looking as close as I usually do, so it was cool to see where we've gone over the last year.
Well, Ian, you mentioned it there. We're growing. So we asked you to have a look at some stats around how we're growing, how quickly we're growing. Bedazzle us. What can you share with us?
Cool. Well, I thought for a start it'd be fun to just take a bit of a look back at the UK and how they've grown. So obviously they're pretty massive now. Although I think we're catching pretty fast with the number of events that we're pushing out every year now. But what I did is I tried to look back to a time where they had a similar number to us. So I went back to 2010, where they had 18 events up and running at the beginning of 2010. So at the beginning of 2013, we had 18 events, and they also had 18 events at 2010. So it was just comparing similar numbers. So the following year, we bumped up to 56, and the following year they went to 50. So we got them by 6 on that one. So, but still huge growth there on both fronts over a year. The following year, we bumped up to 102 and they went to 95. So, again, we're just out in front with the growth that they were having. The following year, though, we went to 146 and they jumped to 152. So they just pulled in front. And then after that, they sort of keep going up and up and up. Just their growth has exploded at that point and they've just taken off. So it's very cool to see. But, yeah, similar growth there for the first couple of years. And growth there isn't too much of a big difference as the years have gone on. We've kept just a little bit behind, but not as much. So,
as it stands, Ian, the growth though, are we maintaining the same level each year, or is the growth also growing each year?
It's going down slightly, but only slightly. So we're looking at around. So back in 2016, we had a 40% increase. Then we've gone to 36, then 31, and then this year has been 28% increase. But 28%, that's still massive. To be pushing at that number of events is huge. So the number of events we're opening is quite massive.
I guess, yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose it's a percentage of the amount that we already have, isn't it? Because, for example, this year in Australia, we've launched 80 events, or we will have by the end of next week, 85K events plus 3 junior park runs, plus we facilitated the 2 events in Malaysia. So we've never launched that many events in 1 year before.
That is crazy. Our first 3 years, we only had just over 80 events, and then we're doing that in a year. So that's massive.
Did you look at the growth for actual participation, the numbers of runners and walkers we've got every week?
So I looked at it from Australia, so it was a bit hard to get UK. I don't have as granular stats on that. So first one I wanted to look at, though, was... Actually, no, I'll go back over the years, so first. So if we look at just our 5K events, I'll keep juniors out of it for a second, but looking at our 5K events, we had total number of runs that we had last year was 1.5 million. So that's total runners over number of events each week. This year to date, we've had 1.7 million.
That's a lot of kilometres.
That is a lot of kilometres. So,
with a few weeks to
on
go.
The volunteer, yeah, exactly. So we'll still get quite a big bump in there. On the volunteer front, we went from 116,000 to 140,000 volunteers. Now, I did want to call out the junior event. So what I did, just to try and put this into a bit more perspective, is I went back to a time when we had a similar number of events at the 5 kilometre event. What I wanted to do was just highlight the number of volunteers that the junior events do take. So if I went back to 2011 when we had 3 events up and running, so we had 400 on average. So in total, we had 421 volunteers over that period. We've had this year 1,076 volunteers on the juniors, and that's not even the same time frame. So just the amount of volunteers that go into the junior parkrun is just massive.
It's been a challenge, there's no doubt about that, but also we're introducing those large numbers of people into volunteering, some that maybe would never have done it because you don't need to do it at the 5K event.
Yep, so it's fantastic to see, and that it's going so well. It's very cool to see. We've got 4,961 runs in total chalked up for those juniors. So the other thing I always like covering off, and this is a controversial one because people can play this one a little bit, is PB streaks. I love looking at PB streaks. It makes for interesting talk. So I've got 2 people I want to call out this year that have had PB streaks. So Johan Carlson, he has had 18 PBs in a row. Now, I know the usual comment first there is, okay, has someone played the system a little bit to get that many PBs? Now, Johan, so he runs at Applecross. I had a look at his PBs. So back at the beginning of the year, on the 24th of the 2nd, he ran 44 minutes. Now, he has been progressively going faster and faster, just by a little bit each week, down to 35 minutes. So he looks like he's really working for his, and he's done a really great job of getting 18 PBs in a row on Johan.
That's awesome.
Yeah, how cool is that? Now, another person I wanted to call out was Tim Banks. So Tim has done 16, so just a little bit under. But, so he runs at Kira. Again, he started at the beginning of the year around 22 minutes 30. And again has been progressively getting faster and faster till he looks like he went sub 20 middle of the year. Yep, very cool. But he got to 16, and get this sort of hurts a little bit. He ran an equal time to the previous week, which lost his PB, and then he ran another 5 PBs after that. 21 PBs, just by 1 second. So.
And you know what? You've got no idea, but that could have just been somebody's slow reaction on the stopwatch. Absolutely, yep. Power slash. If they've all been at the same event, then I guess that's it's negligible anyway. It doesn't really matter. It's consistent. So I'm sure they're using the same technology every week and all that sort of stuff. So
no, very, very cool to see. That's a pretty impressive streak there that he's got going. So, and he's just consistently dropping time every week.
On the plus side, it might have broken his PB streak, but he got a Groundhog Day. There's one for your running challenges on the Chrome extension.
That's right. And, I think he did similar to me. He's run sub 20, and, I think he's had a little bit of trouble going sub 20 again. I think I've done that once, and, managed to get a hernia out of it, so I'll never be running sub 20 again, I doubt so.
Out of interest, what's your PB streak, Ian?
I don't have a very good PB streak because when I first started, I got 20.01. This is before I started at Stones Corner Parkrun. My goal was to go sub 20 before I started Stones Corner. About 2.5 years after starting Stones Corner, I went sub 20. And, I haven't been near it again since. So I think I've had 2 PBs in my whole parkrun time.
Oh, okay. And that's not a streak because they weren't in a row. They went 2 consecutive weeks.
So there are no streaks.
That's okay. I do actually have a PB streak of 2 weeks in a row. I think it was when I was marathon training. But just with you, that was a long time ago. It was like 2013. So it's been a long time for me since I've had a PB.
Yep, set those goals too high and it's just hard to match again.
Yeah, it's one of those things that Scotty likes to lord over me is the fact that he's got a longer PB streak.
Well, I don't have much, Mel, so I take what I can. What else have you got? Have you got anything else for us?
So, I thought I've got a few more. So, course records this year, we've had, on the 31st of the 3rd, we had 22 course records. I don't know what was happening on that day. I don't know if you can think back to the 31st of March.
Is this course attendance records?
Yes, course attendance records. So, 22, and on New Year's Day we had 19.
31st of March. It doesn't ring any bells.
No.
I reckon we just had good weather. Day. That's the busy time. February, March. Everyone's happy. Yep. Everyone loves parkrun.
Yep. And so we're talking course attendance records. So Cairns and Emerald took the prize this year with 5 course records over the whole year. So well done to them. So 2 more little bits I thought I'd throw in before I'll do the Mel and Scott stats. I thought I'd have a quick look at Christmas Day just to see if we got any prediction on what's coming this year. So last year, if we can think back, we had 73 events taking part and 9,106 runners take part. And that was actually an 80% growth from the previous year. So we only had 5,000 the previous year. So what do you reckon we're going to do this year?
16,000 participants.
Oh, you're going for 16?
Yep.
Okay. Big day. So check this space early next year to see what numbers we get. And New Year's Day. So this year, New Year's Day, we had 113 events take place and we had 19,800 runners join us on New Year's Day. From 2017 to 2018, we actually doubled the numbers. So we went from 9,500 up to 19,800. So,
well, there you go. I'm being conservative for Christmas Day. Scotty, you need to weigh in because if you don't give a guess, then it's not a competition.
I reckon this year on Christmas Day, we're probably looking at about 12 to 13,000, but I think everyone's going to save themselves for New Year's Day, and we're going to double again. We're going to push maybe 35 to 38,000 on New Year's Day.
There we go.
Now let's get on to the stats that really matter. We've saved the best till last. I've taken a bit of a beating this year, Ian. Every time I go head-to-head with Melissa Ellis, I seem to come off second best. So hopefully you've manipulated some stats to give me a bit of a boost to round out the year in the Mel versus Scott stakes.
Of course I have. Just give me a second to change a couple of these figures and then we'll be right to go.
Good. Okay. Give me some hope. Give me some hope.
Just change the names on the 2 columns. That's all you need to do, Ian.
Pop them around, you reckon? Okay.
Yeah.
So I've only got a couple that I pulled up here. Now, I know, Mel, we were chatting before and you mentioned that you didn't have many PBs in the last couple of years, but PBs are based per event, so you do have some more than you thought you did. But overall PBs, maybe not, but event PBs. So between Mel and Scott, do either of you know how many PBs you had this year?
Oh, so you mean like course PBs?
Yeah, course PBs. They count as well.
If you run at the event once, is that a PB?
No.
Oh. No.
Class as a new starter.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think I've got a PB then this year.
No, but you've run at a lot more events this year that you've previously been to than I have. I'm not saying you ran very fast at those, so maybe you didn't improve your times.
Yeah.
Classic there, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but the odds are in your favour, I guess, because you probably ran at more different events than I did for the second or multiple times. I think maybe I've had two course PBs this year.
Spot on.
Ah, well, there you go. What events were they, Ian?
I actually didn't pull the events that they were.
Okay.
But there are two. And Scott, I did all the work I could with the figures here, but I just can't. I could add an extra 0 to the end, I suppose. You got one. So
I did get one.
Yes, you did get one. So that's good. That's good. Got to be happy with the PB.
Yeah, I'm happy with one. Yeah.
Thank you for all the stats, Ian. It's always a brain strain for me to try and wrap my head around the numbers, but I'm still always fascinated by them as well. What has been going on in the life of Mr. Hay since last we spoke? How is your parkrun journey going?
So it's been great. I haven't gotten around as much as I'd like to, but I did go out and visit St. Lucia Parkrun, so that was nice. I think I missed the launch by 1 or 2 weeks, but I popped out there a couple of weeks afterwards, and they've got a very, very flat course, which is nice. I enjoyed that thoroughly. I've been more getting my son into parkrun now, so he's 9 and has never really been interested. So now, rather than trying to get back to my sub 20, which I should just really let go of now that I'm in my 40s, but it's just not happening. So getting him out there, so now doing around an hour at the moment and slowly trying to get him a little bit fitter and a bit faster. So it's been fun.
So, Ian, you've been busy. We haven't been able to utilise you all year. Are you training an apprentice? Is your son young enough to take over this segment next year?
And he might get a few of the figures a little bit better too, so he'll do a great job. No, I haven't quite got the bug with him yet, but give me a little bit more time. You never know. So,
Okay, well,
as they get a little bit older, so and they get into these sort of things a little bit more, getting into the computer stuff and things like that. So I'm sure he'll be better than me in no time.
Okay, so we're not holding up much hope for your son. So I think what we've got to do is we've got to work on that sponsorship money, Mel, so we can actually start paying Ian to come back and join us in 2019, because the people have spoken in the Pearl illustration. They love the stats. We love the stats. So thanks for coming back on this week, and we look forward to more in next year's edition.
Fantastic to be back. Thank you. Fun as always.
Hello Parkrun Adventurers, it's Steve Marston. I'm here with my colleague Michael. We're in Weipa today. We've got up earlier than the birds and we've made the 2-hour drive from our work site where we've been fortunate enough to work to Weipa Parkrun. We've been very lucky that our rest day today has fallen on Parkrun Day. So we've made the journey up to Parkrun, and on a pretty balmy morning, though I think we've been relatively lucky, Michael. It's only 30 degrees here at the finish line. As we finish the run, but it's 30 or so minutes since we finished the run, and we're still sweating buckets. So it was a nice course, out and back course on an asphalt surface, a bit of shade. How did you find the run, Michael, and how was your time this morning?
Yeah, the run was a nice run. Along the footpath the whole way, the birds were chirping underneath the mango trees in some places. It was quite humid, but we were quite lucky with a little bit of cloud cover this morning. So
I think it could have been worse, couldn't it?
It was definitely manageable. I think I was saying to you, sometimes it seems worse when you actually stop. The run itself wasn't too bad, but standing here right now, it looks like we've just been for a swim.
Yes.
But no, lovely course, lovely people.
Yes, very friendly. I had a lovely chat to a guy out there running with today. He's only his 8th parkrun. It's only your 2nd parkrun today, Michael, isn't that right?
Yeah.
I've roped you in, mate. You've caught the parkrun bug now.
For sure, yeah. Great way to get a bit of exercise on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, when we're away for work. And it's a lovely course here, very friendly locals, some tunes at the finish line, which is nice, little touch. And we're also, I think we're celebrating Alicia, the event director's her final run here today before she hangs up the ED gloves and passes the baton on to another team. So we might just go and see if we can catch Alicia for a chat. Hi Parkrun Adventurers, I'm here with Alicia, the ED for Weipa Parkrun. Today's her last run before she relocates to Melbourne. How have you found your parkrun time as ED in Weipa, Alicia?
It's been incredible. The community's really gotten behind it. We always have volunteers stepping up every single week, and it's just been incredible. We have a really supportive team up here. The local sports clubs, the local schools, they all really enjoy coming down to the event, so I think it's been just a great addition to a fairly sporty community.
Yeah, fantastic. And you're off to Melbourne?
I am, yes.
Parkrunning in your future down there?
Well, I spoke to Carol Cunningham earlier this week. She said they don't want to let me go, so she'll try and ring me in.
That doesn't sound like Carol.
I'll be around Q area, so if there's any parkruns down there looking for another run director, I'll be happy to help out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to change of scenery. All my family's down there, so it's really about going back and reconnecting with them, helping them out when they need it.
Oh, well, you've had you and your father, it's been a family affair up here in Weipa, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I moved up to Weipa originally 2 years ago because Dad was up here working with Rio Tinto at the bauxite mine. But he left 6 months later, and I decided to stay on, and I took over the parkrun reins and helped that continue on.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat.
No,
and we'll talk again.
Hope you enjoyed the heat this morning.
Yes, no, it's not.
We kind of swam this one.
Yes, it's pretty much. It's not too bad. I was just saying earlier, I think we hit it pretty well with the weather. It's not too bad today. Only 30 degrees at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much, Alicia.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Well, that's a wrap from Weipa Parkrun. We've grabbed some supplies, refueled, and we're about to head off on our 2-hour drive back to work. It's been absolutely fantastic to have the opportunity to come out and see a community like Weipa and how they support and participate in their local parkrun, and the volunteers like Alicia who do an amazing job bringing parkrun to communities like this all over Australia every Saturday. And so until next time, goodbye.
Okay, so it's Gary Murphy reporting in for the Parkrun Adventurers with a roving report from home this weekend from Highlands. I'm not adventuring, but the adventures come to us. I've got Robin Rishworth here, who's joined the Cow Club today.
Half Cow
Club, thank you, Robin. 50 different parkruns in... how long have you taken to do that, Robin?
Oh, there's 2 earlier on, but basically 12 months other than that. 48 in the last 12 months, different ones. I've never ever run... On a Saturday, I've never run the same parkrun yet. In Victoria, I've never done the same parkrun yet. And I'm saving the closest one. I'm in Hillsville, Lilydale for the last one. That's like the finishing straight.
And that's a fantastic way to do it. I like that. How did you get into parkrun?
We sold the farm and I used to run up a 1,000-foot climb in 1.3 k's on the farm and had to find another adventure. That farm, I'd run 1,280 ascents of this 1,000-foot climb. I needed something different.
Wow, what kind of farming were you doing?
Oh no, we just had 60 acres, but it was a big mountain at the back of it that I used to run up.
Okay.
I cleared the track myself.
Okay, wow. And so how did you hear about, what was your inspiration to start doing all the different parkruns rather than having a home parkrun?
I published maps for a living and I liked seeing a different country, and it seemed like a reasonable challenge at the time. I had no idea when I started how many people have already done it beforehand.
And we've spoken to Robin about the Chrome extension, the running challenges. That's going to be right up your alley.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before, but there's amazing things that just keep growing from trying some adventure.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get you onto that and you'll absolutely love that. Where are you off to next week?
Hastings next week, but then the following week I'm in trouble because we're catching the train to Perth and the train doesn't get in until 5 o'clock on the Saturday.
No, good. So what are you going to do?
Run up and down the train. There's not much else I can do.
That's fantastic, mate. And I can't ask you for your top 3, or can I?
Oh, look, I think I like Hamilton. Kangaroo Island's not too bad, and Port Lincoln's nice on the coast too.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so we talk about crazy start hours and people getting up at all times of the morning to get to parkrun. What's been your earliest start?
Oh, look, I won't leave before 5. I'll sleep in the back of the car out in the bush if it's any further. It's too dangerous. My pet hate with parkruns is ones that don't have toilets. Like even today, the push bike's tied to the front of the bull bar because I need to go to the toilet and it's too far to go. I need to use a push bike. I don't like ones without toilets. I've used a shovel at one event.
I'm not going to ask you which one. We'll leave that out. That's terrific, Robin. I'm really impressed, and congratulations.
Thanks.
Good luck with the rest of your adventures.
Thanks.
And thanks for talking to the Parkrun Adventurers.
Thank you.
Good morning, Parkrun Adventurers. It's Melissa here, checking in for the Channel 5 news crew. I've had a big adventure this morning, so I thought I would let you all know about it. Last week I couldn't get to parkrun, sadly, and I was a bit grumpy because I had other things to do. I know, sometimes that happens. But today, big adventure. I had a 3 a.m. alarm and I had a 6 a.m. flight out of Melbourne. I'm not going to tell you the location. Let's call it the parkrun that shall not be named. I did a few things for the first time. One of them is hire a car, because if I hadn't, I never would have made it here on time. I got here with 10 minutes to spare. We've ran the parkrun. We've got beautiful sunshine, I hate to say. I ticked off a letter for my BG's challenge, for my Stayin Alive challenge, which I've now completed. I got a number for my Wilson Index, and I may have got a compass point as well. So, standing here by a babbling brook where there's a platypus walk, and I'm going to go for a little walk now, and I'm hoping that I might spot some platypus. And I've got to fill in my day in a different state. Oh, and I've got another adventure. I actually was gifted the air flight by a friend who had booked it and couldn't manage to come. But the catch was, or the deal was, that part of me taking the gifted air flight was that I had a companion for the day. So I came to parkrun with a stranger that I've never met before, and he's accompanied me down to this mystery parkrun location, and yeah, we might have a chat to him as well. Parkrun's finished now, and I'm here with my mystery partner for the day, Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, how are you, Mel?
I'm really good. Now, we've just met today, haven't we?
Yeah, indeed we have. It's been a magical mystery tour.
Oh, never short of excitement when you come parkrunning with me. So we have a mutual friend that has allowed us to attend today this parkrun that shall not be named.
Yes. Thank you, mutual friend.
Yes, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. You're quite new to parkrunning.
Correct, yes. This is my 4th run, and I was introduced to it by a mutual friend. The whole idea of it appealed to me because it's more about self-improvement rather than competition, which I thought was quite a good concept. And I've also had experience with athletics through my children, etc., as a volunteer, so it ticked a lot of boxes for me.
Oh, very good. And what did you think of our mystery course today?
I thought it was quite picturesque. Perhaps it was 3 laps. So I'm normally used to doing a continuous circuit at Diamond Creek. So this was a bit different. It was just a pleasant change. Yes, it was good.
Very good.
And I liked the water aspect of it. That was quite soothing.
I do. I must admit, I love parkrunning near water.
Yeah. It sort of helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And we've got beautiful weather for it here today.
Oh, it's gorgeous. This is extraordinary. You know, not too hot, not too cold, just perfect, actually. I could actually feel the heat as I was running. Could you?
Yes. Yeah. It's remarkably warm. We haven't had many that warm yet in Melbourne.
No.
So it just takes you a bit by surprise.
It is summer, you know.
Yeah, good point. This area that we're in is actually farming area, apple area.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little clue. And also, I believe, if you watched the series on Channel 2, Rosehaven, this little town is the location of the filming of that series.
Yeah. It's very picturesque, extremely picturesque. It's picture postcard stuff, actually. Yeah.
It is. So we've got a day to fill now before our whirlwind day ends and we fly home tonight. So we're going to go and explore. So have a great day, adventurers, and we'll check in next time.
Thanks, Mel.
Many thanks to Steve Marston putting in a roving report from Weipa Parkrun, heading very far north in Queensland to get that one for us. Cheers for that, Steve. And Melissa Ellis, who is reported in from the parkrun that shall remain nameless or should not be named. What? How do they say? How do they say it in Harry Potter? He who should not be named, or something. She was at Geeveston parkrun. If anyone didn't quite pick up on all those hints, doing it pretty much exactly the way it should be done in the sunshine on a day when it's not cancelled, taking in the view with a little paddler of a platypi or platypus in the creek alongside the course, and having a great morning of it. So I'm glad all the stars aligned with that whole trip and it all went well. That's 2 Channel 5 news crew members who've done Geeveston Parkrun in 2 weeks since my misadventure some 1 month ago. I appreciate her sensitivity. You know, I don't know if you picked up on it, Scotty, but I heard the guilt. She was feeling guilty about having a good parkrun experience when I had not had a good one. So, which is extremely sweet and entirely unnecessary. Everybody should be having wonderful parkruns everywhere all the time, irrespective of other people's experiences.
So you've come to terms with it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, you know, today I have. Ask me again in a couple of weeks and the bitterness may have returned. Who knows? Yeah. You know, it's because it was one of the 3 major goals for me for 2018 and it's disappeared. There's always going to be a little tinge of sadness that I didn't get that goal for this year. But you know, it's still on the horizon. I will make it back at some point.
Hey, Mel, I started the year hoping to run sub 20 and finish a marathon. Look at me now. So things change, things happen, but it's a nice little segue to your goals for next year. We're going to jump straight into it.
The top 3, rip it off like a Band-Aid.
Yep. Share them with me. You've had a whole week to think about it, and I know you've dedicated a couple of hours each day to thinking about this.
To researching, to really soul-searching.
Yeah, you've put a lot of thought into it, and I really appreciate that. So share with me and the listeners your goals for next year that we can hold you accountable for 52 weeks.
Okay, so this year, just as a basis for comparison, I wanted to do 20 new events, which has been placed in jeopardy, but I still think I'm going to scrape it in by the skin of my teeth. So, but it's going to leave me at not a round number. So even though my goal was to do 20 new ones, I actually wanted to do 22 new ones so that I could get to 70 on the most events list, with the idea in my head that perhaps in 2019 I would do 30 new events and then I would be at 100 different. But that's really not going to happen. I'm trying to be realistic. You know, if Geeveston has taught me anything, it's that sometimes things happen that are out of your control and the best laid plans don't always come off. So that's okay, but I just want to be a bit realistic so I'm not like devastated or disappointed if I have to readjust to get to where I'm headed next year. So I will not be doing 30 new events next year, but I am, do I say it out loud? I'm going to try for 22 so that I can get to the nice round figure of 90. Maybe I should scale that back to 17.
22. Did everyone get that? 22. Mel's going for 22 events, new events next year. Great goal.
Maybe. No, let's change that. Let's revise. I want to change it to 17. So 85 is perfectly reasonable. It's a round odd number. So yeah, I'm changing that one as we speak to 17. It's written down now.
17.
Yeah, 17 new events. Okay.
I wrote down 22, but okay, 17 as well.
But I promise I'm not going to change these other ones that I've already written down. So it's, going to happen. I like to have, I spent a bit of time on the Chrome extension going, do I want to join that club? Do I really want to work towards that? Do I want to make this part of the thing? And rather than looking for one of the existing clubs or challenges that are there, I like to set my own. So I have volunteered as a run director so far 86 times. So next year, I'm going to volunteer as a run director, not just any volunteer role, but as a run director 14 more times. That's my goal, so that I can take that count to 100.
Okay.
These are very, very specific to Mel goals, but that's okay.
They are very. Do you know how many times you've run directed this year as a comparison?
I can look at my diary very quickly and give you a rough idea. It's pretty much like once every 5 to 6 weeks, and then
So that's not 14.
No, it's not 14, and I've picked up a few extras where other run directors on the team have had to pull out or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know exactly how many I've done this year, but I don't think it would be 14. I don't even think it would be 12. So, yeah, it's more than once a month, which is definitely up in the ante.
You should start a new event. I find whenever I started a new event, I was run directing a lot. So can we add that to that goal? Mel starts a new event.
Look, let's not get too ambitious there.
That wasn't the third one? Okay, let's get to the third one.
No.
Let's get to the third one.
The third one, okay, and this is another, but this is one that everyone who's an adventurer can aspire to if they want to. It's not super Mel specific. Have you ever heard of the perfect month?
I've got my idea of what a perfect month is. It could be different to yours.
Yeah, so it might be closer to the original idea of what a perfect month is, which I got from a TV show called How I Met Your Mother, which one of the characters, Barney Stinson, who is played by Neil Patrick Harris, absolutely hilarious. He this is a family show, so I'm not going to go into what his challenge was, but effectively he had a goal to obtain every single day for an entire month, and if he got to the end of that, it was the perfect month. So I'm putting a parkrun spin on it. It's not a daily thing, it's a weekly thing, and a perfect month in parkrun world as an adventurer would be a different event every week for the entire month that you haven't done before. So one new event every week for a full month. Out of the whole 12 months, it doesn't matter which month it is. It could be one of those months that's got 4. It could be one of those months that's got 5. You know, this is no run the date my way kind of thing where I think I'll probably go for one of the months that's only got 4 just to be helpful.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a good goal. And you're right. Everyone can have a crack at that.
Yeah. So something a bit different for next year, you know. And I did think long and hard about these things, Scotty.
Good. Thanks, Mel. That's your top 3 goals for the year, which ticks off that segment, which means we can move on to the next one. And we're going to be welcoming a new event this week. Our last one for the year, is that right?
That's
checking in with the ops team.
100% correct. The last
This is
new
it. Close the books.
For Parkrun Australia in 2018.
And tell us where it's going to be, because it's close to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be on the Sunshine Coast. It's called Baringa Parkrun. So it's down the southern end of the coast in Caloundra, which has for a very long time only had one event. And it's a very successful, happy, friendly event down there, Golden Beach. But I think Baringa is going to be great for the area.
You heading along to the launch?
Well, actually, I've got a prior engagement this weekend.
Oh. Well, they'll just have to wait for your appearance the following week, maybe. Or the week after. That's great. Anniversaries this week. We've also got a whole bunch of anniversaries, starting in Queensland again at Central Lakes.
Yeah, then we can go down to what you like to classify as a state of greatness, Marriott Waters.
Menai and Rooty Hill in New South Wales.
Then Stanthorpe in Queensland again.
I'm dominating the New South Wales events with Stockton.
And then we head to Windsor Precinct in Tassie.
All those events, they'll have fun this Saturday at Parkrun. So you've got a prior engagement. Are you planning to have some fun this week?
Well, I certainly hope so. I'm heading to a different state, one that I haven't parkrun in all year.
Wow.
In fact, one I haven't parkrun in since Wes was born, and you know what? He's 18 months old today.
Wow. Well, you don't visit the Great Estate that much.
Oh, I visited. I just haven't parkrun.
Oh, there you go. You know what? There's a great event in the Great Estate. Some may say it's the greatest event in the greatest estate. It's close to me. We should head along.
That's plural, you know, Scotty.
Yeah.
That's more than one person.
I reckon I can find more than one people that will vouch that it is the greatest event in the Great Estate this Saturday. So you should come along. You should join us.
You're talking it up pretty big. Like,
Well,
I
this
don't
is
want
it.
to be disappointed.
We're being silly, but you're coming to my home, which is the first time you've actually, remember in the year one of the podcast, you came and visited, but it wasn't on a Saturday. So we couldn't do an official park run, but we did a freedom run together. So you have actually visited Westerfolds. And
Well, see, no, when I went down, it was in like the first 12 weeks of the podcast. I think it was like March 2016. God, that was a long time ago. And you had a beard, and you were the Studley event director. So you were determined to take me and Adam to Studley. So we obliged. Originally I wanted to do Westerfolds, but you're like, no, Studley's where it's at.
Is that what happened? Jeez, it was such a long time ago. I've completely forgotten.
Yeah.
I haven't forgotten my time as the Studley event director. That was awesome. And just
but
on
then
that,
we did a freedom run of Westerfolds the next day to make up for it.
And so you're bringing Wes back to his home?
Wes to Westerfolds.
Yep. So that'll be good. You're coming to the home of your running club. You are a Westerfoldian. So
I am. Should I go code green? I probably won't, because I don't really fit into that singlet. I'm waiting for a Christmas singlet, an ugly Christmas singlet to arrive that hopefully I'll be able to fit into.
Well, maybe you might be able to fit into mine because I don't fit into it anymore.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
Yep. So that's good. That's good. Hopefully we show you a good time and you can give us a glowing or a scathing review on next week's pod.
Well, I'm a paid member of the running club, so I'm not likely to give you a scathing review, am I?
I'm talking about the parkrun. I know the Westerfoldians is the greatest running club in Templestowe.
So here's the thing. I'm probably going to end up pushing Wes around in the travel pram, which is not like a running pram. And even if it were a running pram, that's still like 30 kilos more than I actually want to push. Am I going to be on my own this weekend? Or are you going to run with me? Or will you run with Adam? Or try to beat Adam? Like, how is it going to work for you, Scotty?
I don't know. Haven't given it that much thought. I'll do whatever you want me to do, Mel. You're the visitor. I'm the host. I'll show you hopefully a good time. And so, I don't know. It's up to you whether that's determined by me spending more time with you to have a good time, or whether it's better. It's better if you just meet someone new, and I run with Adam.
Okay.
If I can keep up with him.
Oh well. Who knows? You've got the home course advantage. And I don't think he's moving particularly quickly lately anyway.
Yeah. We're a good match then. So that's great. So that wraps it up for episode 141. We want to thank everyone who did order one of the ugly Christmas singlets. We also wanted to point out, we did mention that they were Dinky Dye Aussie in last week's episode, sourced and made. They're going to be made here in Melbourne, the great estate, once again. So they'll be the greatest singlets. But also... Have we got rich off this, Mel? Is this what's funding your trip down to Melbourne?
No, we have made $0 off this, Scotty. we have passed all the savings and / all the expenses on to the people. There's no money coming our way. This is not a commercial enterprise.
It's great for the company who made them and did all the ordering to get them. I think they made a bit of money. I hope they did anyway.
Yeah, well, you want it to be worth their while so that they've got some pride in their work. And look, to be honest, their customer service has been absolutely incredible. Very, very happy with how they've handled everything and looking forward to the shipments going out. And hopefully most people get their stock in time for Christmas. And even though they haven't been able to guarantee the international orders, of which we received quite a few, there's quite a few singlets I think we're going to see pictures of in the UK in future weeks or months or years, Scotty. They've said that they'll, if any get finished even as an hour earlier than others, they'll prioritise those to go to the international post because they know it's going to take a little bit longer to get there, which is just awesome in my opinion.
It is. Yeah, it's great. We love our UK parkrunners. To know that we've got people in the UK listening and wanting to wear a singlet with our silly nonsense on it is awesome.
Yeah, gives us the warm fuzzies.
Yep. So we've got 2 more episodes to go for the end of the year, and then we're going to have a little bit of a break, but that's it.
That's it for 141.